Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Angry and Ornery Show. We are very happy to have some guests in our studio audience, as well as out in Hitbox land, if you're out there. I am Zoltan Mint, and this is a show where we frequently review things and interview folks. And we just so happen to have a guest tonight, which we'll bring out momentarily. How do you get involved? Well, you log into Second Life, you create yourself an avatar, you contact me, Zoltan Mint, or Florian Blaisdell, and we will get you here to the studio so you can sit in a live taping where anything can happen. For example, we have a horse sitting in our audience currently. I'm not kidding you. There's a horse sitting there. Secondly, you can watch the stream live, and that is in hitbox.tv. Go there, do a search for Angry and Ornery, and you will find us there. And you can watch it every other week on Wednesday night, as long as technical things don't happen. Kind of like last week, our cameraman had a technical issue, so we couldn't tape last week, if you were wondering. Don't email me. I just explained it. That's all you need to know. This show is then edited and put on YouTube. If you go to youtube.com and look for the Angry and Ornery channel, you will find all of our shows. All 2-3 years, whatever it is. I don't know. Anyways, join our channel and leave comments and like, dislike, or whatever you want to do, but say something to us so we know there are breathing human beings out there. Otherwise, we might have a situation like with our co-host, Lionheart. Let's give him a round of applause, because we're not sure if he's breathing or not. Come on out, Lionheart.
Yeah, I'm breathing. You know what? Just to make you angry, I'm going to go over the coffee table, I'm going to go over your desk, I'm going to go over the chairs.
Your very existence makes me angry, so none of that thing really matter.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I've been better, but somehow we will survive and get through it, right?
Darn, you'll survive.
Yeah. Much to your demise.
Lionheart show.
Right, exactly. I think those hopes were dashed long ago when you first entered the stage. But why don't we have a seat, because we have a busy show tonight.
Do we?
We do. We have a special guest, and a fellow by the name of Mick Lunacy, who's going to tell us about surfing here in Second Life. Doesn't that sound cool?
That sounds like a lot of fun.
And then we wanted to recap a couple of interviews, a couple of reviews of things that are now starting to get old, so we better hurry up, right?
Yes, definitely.
Would you like to go first or me?
I'll go first. If you'd like me to go first, I'll go first.
Make it quick and easy and simple, and maybe less angry and ornery.
All right. So my first flick is the film that just recently came out on demand and HD rentals type thing, and that should kind of forewarn you how it's going to go. It's the new Stephen King adaptation of Cell, starring John Cusack and Samuel L. Jackson. Right there. Good start. And basically what it is a mysterious pulse goes out across everybody's cell phones, and whoever's using their cell phone at the time basically become enraged, mindless freaks who start beating, bashing, and killing anything that's not changed like them. Movie started out very strong, very bloody, very violent in a good way, as Cusack is in an airport talking to his wife, and his phone dies, and then the pulse goes off. And, it was pretty cool and pretty enjoyable, and he hooks up with some people, and they're basically trying to get to Cusack's son a couple states over. And then it started to become mindless, and then it started to drag on. And then it got to the point where I started watching my watch, wondering, gee, how much longer does this have left? Because I'd rather go clip my toenails.
Thanks.
So, yeah, you know me. I don't give bad reviews to horror films. But I would definitely suggest, if you have Cell in your hand to watch, put it down and read the book instead. I give it a 0. I give it a 0. That's how much I detested the movie and hated it. And it was sad because, Samuel Jackson and John Cusack are are good actors.
I love Cusack.
Yeah, and it was just Cusack was acting like an old, haggard Nicolas Cage throughout the entire film. It was bizarre. And I wasn't the only person who thought that, who was watching it at the time.
Nicolas Cage is old and haggard.
I know, but trying to see Cusack doing an old and haggard
right.
Nicolas Cage was kind of, so definitely put this movie down. Don't ever watch it. Don't ever waste your money on it. If you have something to do one night and it's on Sci-Fi Channel for free, maybe watch it, but I would recommend watching Sharknado
over
this film.
Wow,
yes.
How about Sharknado 4 over it?
I would rather watch all the Sharknado films again than
in a row.
watch Cell. Yes. So,
all
definitely right. 0 for Cell.
I'm going to jump to a movie that I give a 4.5 to, and maybe even a 5 on a second viewing, and that is the latest Star Trek movie, Star Trek Beyond. I am a big, beyond what J.J. Abrams normally does. I think that, I'm a big Trek fan. I don't think I'm a Trekkie or a Trekker or whatever you want to call it, but I love Star Trek. I've watched all the TV shows, and I've seen all the movies, and I have high expectations for the movies when they come out. I've loved the new, it's not a reboot, is it? The new franchise with Chris Pine as Captain Kirk and Zachary Quinto as Spock. I've loved them. I've loved all of them so far, and I was hoping that this one would be just as good, and I was very delighted to find out that it's actually better. It's certainly better than the second one, and maybe as good, if not slightly better than the first one. The story was interesting and cool. The villains were awesome. I loved the new character, the female, whatever she was. I forget the alien race. She was so popular, in fact, that they were talking now to bringing her into the next film as a regular character. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Now, this is coming off the heels of seeing Ghostbusters, which, as you remember, I actually trashed and I disliked and hated.
Yep.
So I was thinking this summer was going to be just another one of those, blockbuster crap fests, but it wasn't, because this surprisingly was a great film. I enjoyed it. So when it drops on DVD, which probably will be soon, the way things go, get it, watch it. Is it still at the theater?
Yes, I think it's still in some.
Oh, well then, if you haven't seen it, catch it on the big screen in 3D. It's just really highly entertaining. I don't need to tell you a plot. You all know how Star Trek movies go. Just see it. It's amazing how they're working in this alternate time thing, and I just find it very intriguing. So, anyways, next, go quick.
I gotta go quick. Okay,
yeah, me too.
So I had the pleasure, and I kind of rubbed this in your face, even though I know you had a chance to see it, of seeing Batman: The Killing Joke on the big screen.
Just dropped. I'm going to pick it up this week, in fact.
Right. If you do not know what The Killing Joke is through the Batman franchise, please turn off this show immediately, because you are not our fandom and we do not want you watching our show. Killing Joke is the famous graphic novel written by Alan Moore, and it's basically a storyline of the Joker going absolutely batshit crazy and doing horrible, horrible things to Barbara Gordon and Commissioner Gordon. Now, this is where my mixed emotions come in. The movie adaptation of it, they did the right way. They got Kevin Conroy, who was the original voice of Batman / Bruce Wayne in the very good Warner Brother Batman animated series. They also brought in Mark Hamill back as the Joker, which voiced Joker for years. 2 fantastic choices. Great there. What kind of slows the movie down is the first 20 minutes of the film, and it's only an hour and 10-minute long film, is this long and overcomplicated story of Batgirl that's not in the graphic novel having to deal with a punk gangster. And yes, I'm going to ruin this for you. Spoiler alert. She ends up sleeping with Batman, which is very awkward, having a 19-year-old sleep with, potentially 35, 40-year-old man.
Yeah, I thought he was in his 40s, Batman.
I you know what? It's always hard to gauge his age.
Right.
But
he's a little kid in Gotham.
Yeah, it was unnecessary, and it made me uneasy. But
You're not the only one that
Killing-
thought that, by the way. A lot of
Yeah.
critics said the same thing.
When the Killing Joke storyline started, they did it perfectly. I mean, I had goosebumps watching it. I felt like a little kid on Christmas Eve, waiting for every scene to come, and then they did it brilliantly, and they pulled
they had
it
to
off.
they had to pad it out for an hour and a half, or
Right.
hour and 10.
And so I'm going to give it a 4.5. The only reason why it loses that half is that little opening montage. But you know what? I go out, buy it. If you're a Batman fan, buy it. I know there are special editions out that are going to be selling the graphic novel.
Already own it.
For this is not for kids. It is rated R. There is a reason why it is rated R.
Right.
So do not go out and buy this for your 12-year-old thinking, oh, it's a cartoon Batman.
Right.
It is not for kids.
Unless your 12-year-old wants to see rape, murder, and dismemberment.
Well, you shouldn't have said that. But
Oh, I'm not
everybody who
ruining
doesn't
anything.
know it.
Right. The graphic novel's been out for 20 years now.
Probably longer.
All right, I'm going to move on because we're running out of time.
What do you got?
My last review is for Suicide Squad, which I just saw, I don't know, a week or so ago. All right, so here's the deal. Will Smith plays Deadshot. I'm not a big fan of Will Smith, but he's good in this. I like the character. I like him. You've got all types of. You got Harley Quinn by Margot Robbie, who stole the show. She walked away as the number one thing people talk about. Her Harley Quinn is pretty flawless. She is flawless. She's obviously beautiful, and now there's going to be spin-offs of her doing movies. They're talking about her own movie very soon. Her and the Joker, actually. Speaking of the Joker, you have the Joker played by Jared Leto. Not the greatest Joker in the world, but tolerable and interesting. And there's a whole host of these very interesting characters that you basically are getting the beginnings for. They're what's that called? Words. I've lost the word for
Origins.
The origins. Thank you. It's the
You're
origins. It's the origins of these villains, and the characters are extremely cool and interesting, even though they're bad guys. But here's where the movie falls apart for me. The story sucks. The story's just not interesting. It's the same old story that's been done in like 3 X-Men movies, right? And it's just like, oh, there's a big bad thing. They're all going to join together and kick its ass. Oh, that's what happened. Spoiler, they kicked the big bad thing's ass. I just, like, with all this great talent and all these good characters, they couldn't put together some new original story that was exciting and cool and fun. It just blew me away, and it stopped me from giving this movie a 5. I think I'm going to give it a 3.5, in fact, because the characters were great, but nothing else was. What did you see it?
I've not seen it.
Okay,
yet.
well,
I have real reservations of seeing it.
Yeah, you'll love the characters, and you'll love Robbie. I mean, she's hot, but everything else is just like lukewarm at the very best. So
Let me ask you this, because you broached the subject. Where would you place Jared Leto's character of Joker in the rankings between, Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson?
Jack Nicholson's in the bottom of that list, and I would put
Really?
Jared right up. Yep, and I would put Jared right above him. Then Cesar Romero, and then the best Joker of all was Heath Ledger.
Okay, that's what I was kind of wondering.
Yeah, he does not do a better job than Heath Ledger. Not even though. I mean, Heath Ledger was horrifying in that movie.
I thought Cesar Romero was pretty good, but
Cesar Romero was silly, and that's fine for the campiness of Batman, the TV show. But Jared Leto, for one thing, he wears a grill. I don't know why, but his teeth
they
are
went
silver.
gangster.
Yeah, he's kind of modern gangster, I guess. But anyway, so there's my review. There's 4 movies, some to touch, some not to touch. Have fun.
Kind of like you and I, one to touch and one not to touch.
Right, and you have to figure out which one that is.
That is correct.
Well, I guess our next guest probably doesn't want us touching him at all, so let's keep ourselves well behaved, shall we?
Okay, maybe.
Can you handle that?
Maybe.
as mentioned, we have a gentleman who has done a lot of surfing in Second Life, and his name is Mick Lunacy. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give Mick a hand, and let's get him out here. Come on out, Mick.
Hello,
seat,
everybody.
Sir. Hi, how are you? I know it's not easy to navigate around our crazy furniture here, so hopefully you can find a place and sit comfortably.
For a small fee, you can sit on Zoltan's lap.
No. There's not a small fee; it's a big fee. Mick, thank you for coming to our show, and it sounds like you're involved in quite a fun hobby, or sport, or I don't know what you'd call it, but why don't you tell the folks a little bit about yourself first, and then we'll get into what you do here on Second Life.
Yeah, it's more of a lifestyle actually than sport to some. To others, it's competition. To others, it's just plain fun. Anybody can surf in Second Life. If you can walk, even not very well, you can surf. The primary walking keys are the arrow keys that you use. Personally, the way I got introduced to Second Life was a friend of mine sent me an email, and it said, here's something for somebody to do that doesn't have a life. And I thought, well, that's me. I thought, I'm actually have a neck injury, so I'm unable to participate in my first love of the lifestyle surfing. And I decided to type in search surfing. I ended up at a place called Surf City, and it was an identical replication of Huntington Beach, California.
Wow.
I couldn't have asked for a better place to drop in. However, I ran amok for about a month or so to get a lot of interesting things out of my system. I lived many lives within that period of time, but and I would return back to the surf sim continually. And at that time, the gentleman, Robin Mapp, who was running that sim, had developed his own line of surfboards and waves. So I was training on those waves and getting accustomed to them, and then discovered that there was a lot of other manufacturers of different boards and waves out there as well. So my journey began, and I've been doing it pretty much nonstop ever since. Not daily, perhaps, but as a young adult, I always wanted to go surfing on Christmas Day, and I was never allowed to. The folks and whatnot, Christmas presents, etc.
Right.
So yeah. So anyway, I've actually got to do that in Second Life, and I was thrilled to death.
Well, let me get this straight. You in real life, you were a surfer, and you injured yourself. Now, was that surfing or doing something else?
No, it was actually diving into the shallow end of a pool with my mates that I'd known since we were like 6 years old, and I was a little bit larger than they were, and we were kind of daring each other, diving into the pool with your hands behind your back, and my dive didn't go too well.
Ouch. But now you can still enjoy this feeling of surfing virtually.
It's the closest thing I've found. I'll tell you, the perspective that you get from the board on the with your avatar is if you can adjust your camera, of course, and it's the next thing. It's like you're there. You're there. You're in the tube. You're doing all the maneuvers. In fact, a gal named Bobby LaSalle, who is like one of the best surfers in Second Life, she said, well, what I like about Second Life is we're not really duplicating surfing as much as we're doing what they wish they could do in real life.
Right.
And so we're performing maneuvers that finally have come around actually in real life, and they're actually doing like spins, flips, aerials, and that type of stuff we were doing like 8 years ago when the local crop of real-time pro surfers are now currently doing those maneuvers, but they're still at the infancy of the whole thing. I mean, it's super dangerous doing it in real life, landing on your fins and such. But here you never drown, you know. I mean, no fin gashes.
It's still an amazing thing to me. I mean, I've been on Second Life for 7 years, and I'm still amazed the fact that you can be a paraplegic, you can be, in a wheelchair, you can be half blind, you can be, maybe you can't speak, or whatever malady or injury that you might have or been born with. You come into a virtual world, and you can climb a mountain, you can skydive, you can surf, you can sail, you can do anything, and there's the opportunity here in the many sims of Second Life to do these things. So surfing is one of many things, but I would think surfing has got to be probably pretty popular, right? I mean, is there a lot of people involved?
Yeah, that's an excellent observation. I've met so many people that have different kind of medical conditions who are just like the best at what they do. They far surpass me in ability level on surfing wise. I know the realistic end of it, but as far as being able to pull off all the maneuvers and such, I'll be the first to tell you I'm not the best. But it sure is neat being able to ride with all those folks. And on a daily basis, and still in a modern age, just like John Severson of Surfer Magazine said, in this virtual reality, you can still go out surfing and be alone with your thoughts, which is like so soothing, and so you just cannot understand how relaxing it is.
Right. Lionheart, you had a question?
Yeah, you were talking about buying different boards and stuff, and you said buying different waves. You can buy basically what waves you're going to end up riding, other than just your boards to take to Sims, or what is that exactly? When you?
Okay, the way it works is, for instance, let's say Lionheart, you go and you buy a Sim, and this is sort of like there's kind of a negative aspect to it too, in that you're going to dig up and get rid of a lot of valuable real estate that you're not going to be able to rent out or whatever, and you clear it all out and make an ocean. So then at one end of it, depending upon the configuration, one end of it, you purchase and install a wave. So when it first all began, Linden Labs were going nuts because the servers were all freaking out because of the banging and the collisions, because it's basically a collision, a prim colliding with another object and throwing it forward. And you're the guy on the object going forward. So anyway, they were perplexed. So finally, they sent Linden people out to investigate why are these collisions happening constantly. Then they came to it became obvious. But anyway, you install a wave, and then you go and you can either purchase a board or or create your own. I have do-it-yourself kits if you all are interested. The wave is set to run a certain length. It hits a certain depth of water, and it will then stop, and then it will just dissipate itself upon the beach. So then you, as a surfer, you paddle out as far as you can and catch the wave as it appears, and then you do maneuvers across the face, going left, right, straight, up, down, upside down, 360, you name it, it can be done. I mean, skateboard tricks, it's just, to me, I'm a surfer, and it's the closest thing I found, and I think it's tops, and I think that anybody who ever would want to come in, join Second Life to come surfing, they can talk to me, they can talk to any surfer, because we're all just with open arms, ready to help anybody learn how, and just for the sheer fun of it. And most sims have free loaner boards for everybody to try all the different manufacturers and see what suits them best.
I think to add more realism, you guys probably should add sharks.
That's what I was just thinking.
Well, we've had actually rocks, and the rocks, when you hit them, you end up bleeding, and you hit the rocks and blood's all over the place.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah.
So if somebody new does want to get involved, they don't necessarily have to own a sim, right? Tell us about locations.
Not at all.
That you can actually surf
No,
at.
you could look and search for Second Life Surfing Association and go to that sim, which has a complete line of boards and waves running. And there's going to be a competition there this Saturday, by the way.
Ooh, do tell.
Yeah, at the SLSA sim, and the parameters for that is you must own a homestead and a full sim. The surfers ride on the homestead, and the crowd is and the stands, the viewing stands, are in the other on the full sim.
So
yeah, exactly. We got 10 people on the sim. We got 3 judges, beach marshal who kind of orchestrates who goes when, and then there's a security person, and but primarily there's 10 people on the sim if the heat is full of 6 riders. And so there's 10 people. You know, there's the 6, the 3, and then there's the beach marshal. So it's unfortunately Linden Labs doesn't take care of servers as much on the weekends, so it does get a little dicey lag-wise. But it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on. I'll tell you that.
Nice.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to come try.
So if like let's say somebody came on and they were newbie poor, could they find a free board somewhere to try it?
Absolutely, yeah, of course. Yeah, you could. Like as I said, each sim has a selection. There's lists too that you could be obtained at the Second Life Surfing Association sim. I mean, I'm not trying to promote this SLSA in any way, but that is a good starting point because there's tons of information there. There's a Hall of Fame there, which includes everybody from the original inventors of surfing in Second Life, all the way to the last season champion in this Hall of Fame. So I mean, to our knowledge, it's the longest running sports organization in Second Life. Now I don't know what else has been going on, but because all I've been doing is surfing. I mean, I played a little football and a few other odds and ends. I was in a biker gang and stuff. But,
right. So many things here.
I mean, yeah. So I mean, it's a new person could go right to that sim in their Ruth avatar or whatever they choose. They could click on a board. It'll pop right up in the water, and bam, hop on it. You're surfing.
Wow, that's cool.
That easy. You guys do. All you here.
Tournaments and everything.
Come on down. I encourage you to come try it out. I mean, it's more fun than a barrel of monkeys.
A drunk barrel of monkeys.
Exactly.
Well, that's
and we
cool.
have party. Oh, we got.
Is there any type of blogs or websites or anything outside the group?
Yeah, you can find some stuff on my website, which is surfcrazy.com. Also, the SLA has a website, slsa.org, I believe. Those are 2 sites where you can. My site is like more of a surfing site related to surfing itself, and it's been online for over 20 years. But there's the SLSA site reveals a lot of different advice about tricks and what to expect, competition, that angle. But don't even think that you have to be a pro surfer to do it. You could like I said, day one, go to the beach, hop on a board, and you're riding. I mean, that's it.
Right.
It's just, and as you progress, your talent level rises. And if you want to compare yourself with other folks, then you get in competition and
I assume you have to have a bathing suit of some, right?
Yeah, clothing is kind of required because we got to go to a lot of general sims, and we do have children compete.
Sure.
So, but we do, and yeah. So there's sims, or if you want to surf naked, there's sims for that.
I'm sure there is.
Yeah, I mean, but the reality is that surfing naked. Well, in my perspective, for real life, there's number one, the shrinkage factor, and and number two, sand is not kind to soft body parts.
Right.
So you want to be kind of covered up.
Right,
But
right.
no, you're surrounded by women in bikinis constantly, and all just a super bunch of gals and guys. And,
I think you just sold Lionheart on the whole just mentioning the bikini.
Lionheart
a
surfing.
little bit. Yeah.
He's heading to the beach after this, huh? But and there's every race, creed, color, sexual, you name it, they're here. Included. The only
Well, that's what's
thing
nice about the whole deal. The whole virtual reality thing is it's worldwide. So you could be surfing with people from Italy and Germany and Brazil.
Constantly, yeah. Always. In fact, one of my very good friends is a Brazilian man, and he created a line of surfboards and waves, which are still used to this day.
So how come surfing isn't in the Summer Olympics yet?
It will be in 2020.
They said they're trying to get it by the 2020. You think it's not going to?
No, it's there. It's been approved. Yeah, and that and skateboarding both.
Yeah, skateboarding.
Yeah.
I think that's 20. In 2020. Yeah, that's what he said. What's his name?
Yeah.
White. What's his name? Something White.
Yeah, Shaun White.
John White.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, the snowboarder. Yeah, a lot of the
Yeah.
moves with surfing is, they all cross over. Surfing, snowboarding, skateboarding. They just all
Sure do.
lend one. They lend one themselves to one another, and simboarding
Kind of like
too.
like recreational sports, and a lot of people almost consider them hobbies, right?
Oh yeah, but I feel more deeply about it than most.
Sure.
Some people are.
Am I guessing? Maybe I'm wrong, but are you like Southern Californian?
Yeah, I live north of Los Angeles on the beach.
You're an old surfer dude then.
Exactly. Yeah, I had the pleasure of surfing while all of my compatriots and older friends served in Vietnam when the coast was empty, and so we had full run of the coast from Washington to Deep, Mexico, and we traveled. 16 years old. I was in Tijuana, in a unsavory environment.
Yeah,
we traveled.
Exactly. Right.
We traveled. That's part of it.
That's very cool. That's very cool. You might have a book in you, man.
Surfing itself is travel. You're catching a wave at one point, and you're traveling down the line on the face of the wave and going somewhere else.
Right.
That's what it's all about. If the waves are decent, and even if they're not, you're going to do something else.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's very, very cool. Well, is there anything else you'd like to plug or tell people about?
I got a little surf shop. It's in a cheap part of town. That's kind of how we roll.
That's where Margaritaville is, right?
Well, it's sort of like, I liken it to like Costa Mesa as opposed to Huntington Beach.
Right.
Costa Mesa is an industrial area off of that's inland from Huntington Beach, where pretty much I would say, I don't know, at least 80% of the surfboards ridden in Orange County are made. And so I'm at a very inexpensive a sim called Superfish, and it's a sim for that people run around and fish for Linden and make cash.
Right.
And so I set up shop there. I've got a realistic surf shop that looks, and a glass factory, and a shaping bay that replicates what you could see in real life.
That's cool.
And I encourage y'all to come by there. Just Google or search for Superfish and wander around. You'll see my California flag.
And anybody logging in certainly can get a hold of you, Mick, and
absolutely. Yeah, Oh yeah, I'm available all the time. Anybody can IM me or talk to me, and simple to pro lessons we will provide. Our home sim is on a sim called Island Sea Soul, and that's where the team or my team actually hangs out. And there's a couple of other there's one California guy who's about 60 miles south of me and then there's a gal from Australia, and they both also teach anybody on any level, and have both competed and been
Nice.
successful in the competitive arena. So, and we have every brand of board to try, and it's a very relaxed atmosphere. If you want to surf naked, there you can. It's an adult-rated sim. I mean, some people do, and I've been known to go, do it. There's no shrinkage in SL, so
All right. Well, we are definitely out of time, and that's a great place to end it there. So, I want to thank you very much, sir, for coming down and telling us about it. It sounds like a blast. So,
It's my pleasure, personally.
absolutely. Give Mick a round of applause, everybody.
Thanks for having me, really, guys.
Absolutely. All right, we got to close this show down. I see that we're over. I think the people on YouTube are going to get angry at me. But let's do it anyways. Lionheart, let's see. If they want to see this show, they can no longer see it on Hitbox because that was live, but they can get on YouTube and see it. So do so there. Go to the Angry and Ornery channel, and it should be there in about a day or two, depending on how quick I get the file. But anyways, I think next week we have I'm sorry, the next taping we have another special guest. Isn't that right?
That is correct, as far as I know.
I think she said that. Yeah. So look for us in September. That will be on the 7th of September. Same time.
Can I use you as a surfboard?
No, because I'm old and you'll break me.
Oh. Okay.
Anyways, you should probably stay off the beaches. Oh, I was going for a bad joke, but I pulled back and I decided not to. Just for the record, my joke was so cruel that I pulled back, all right?
Okay, if you say so.
I am. You're a nice fella, now go away. Good night, everybody. See you in the movies.
Good night.